You would think that every FICO score would be the same as every other FICO score as far as the way the formulas work, and that's completely wrong. So different industries have different needs, and the Fair Isaacs Company, which is where FICO comes from, has developed different algorithms for the different industries.
Hello, Glenn. Thanks for coming on with us today.
Well, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, great. So you just released your newest book, Credit Score Battle Plan. Help us to understand what's in the book and why you wrote it.
Well, I'm in the mortgage business, so my business depends on people having good enough credit to buy a house and do the loans. So credit scoring has been a big part of my business for the last 20 years. And I am where I am today because of figuring out credit scoring and how to help people raise their scores. And I started out early in my career when the internet was young with working with pop-up ads. If you remember pop-up ads, whenever you tried to read anything on the internet, you would get these annoying ads that would pop up in the middle of your screen that you had to respond to or delete. And many of them were sold by lead generator companies. And they would ask for people with bad credit, no credit, just filed bankruptcy, just had a foreclosure, all the most horrible situations possible. And they would say, no problem, let us help you. And so these leads would be sold to dozens of mortgage companies, and we would all be competing to try to get applications from these people. And surprisingly enough, most of them had really horrible credit because that's what the ads were asking for. Every once in a while, you'd get a good credit person, and then you could do a loan for those people. But the bad credit people, you really couldn't help. And I thought that was really sad, and I wanted to try to figure out a way to help those people. And so I figured out how to start raising people's credit scores, and I got really good at it. And I became a preferred lender for two nationwide collection companies, one in Buffalo, New York, and one in Washington, D.C. And their collectors would send their clients to little old Glen Leach in Puyallup, Washington. And I would try to figure out a way to pull cash out of their houses to pay off their collections. And that was really fun. And especially dealing with the collectors and seeing the dirty side of their business and how they work. That was real eye-opening. Anyway, so that was a great career until the subprime market blew up the mortgage industry, and that part of my career ended abruptly. And then I started using my credit knowledge to help first-time homebuyers, especially like low-income families. And I became a preferred lender for a lot of the nonprofit housing authorities and other agencies that work with families with disabilities, things like that. I would teach these credit classes, help them fix their credit, help them find down payment assistance programs that met their needs, and help these people buy houses. And that was incredible. I was just knocking it out of the park, dealing with people that nobody else wanted to work with. And I loved that part of it. So anyway, that's kind of my background with my credit, knowledge, history, how I became so passionate about it. And I just decided I would write it in a book form. And there it is, Credit Score Battle Plan, how to fix your credit.
So someone picks up the book. What would they expect to learn in there and be able to come out the other side with?
So for years and years, I have taught people how to fix their own credit. So that's what I've done. I don't do the heavy lifting for them. I show them how to do it. One of the reasons why I do it that way is because I think it's very empowering, and it's impactful for the rest of their life if they actually do it themselves rather than having somebody do it for them. So yeah, they're going to be able to figure out this stuff on their own, know what's going to help their credit, know what's not going to help their credit, and just be able to put their own plan together. And of course, I can help them with that. But that's what the book is designed to do, is to give you a step-by-step how to do this and how to know what to do. So, I love teaching people. I love helping people do this. And I'm excited to have it in a book form finally, that they can go through and, fix it on their own.
Good. Well,
So
I just got mine Amazon delivered, my copy. I've thumbed through it. I love the stories. Some of the quotes that you have in there on the side makes it interesting, kind of enjoyable. So I'm looking forward to diving in myself. So one of the questions I get from people is about, they get a credit report or a credit score, but they may come back different, or they get surprised by it. So, help us understand more about that. It's something in the book that they'll learn on the different algorithms or different models that are used.
For sure. So there's something called a FICO score that you've probably heard. And you would think that every FICO score would be the same as every other FICO score as far as the way the formulas work. And that's completely wrong. So different industries have different needs. And the Fair Isaacs Company, which is where FICO comes from, has developed different algorithms for the different industries. So the FICO scores differ from each other depending on what industry you're applying for. If you're applying for a credit card, or applying for a car loan, or a student loan, or various other industries, the formula is a little bit different. So with the mortgage industry, we are under the guidance of the federal government. So the federal government has decided which of the FICO formulas we're allowed to use. There's 3 different credit bureaus, and each one of those credit bureaus uses a different formula from each other. So when you pull all 3 credit bureaus, you're going to get 3 different scores because the formulas are slightly different. And those formulas are quite a bit different than the more recent formulas that were developed for credit cards, car loans, what a landlord would pull, etc. So when you use those monitoring services and you get a monthly report of what your FICO score is, that's not going to match up with what the mortgage industry has. And typically the mortgage industry is going to have lower credit scores than the more modern FICO formulas out there. It's not a conspiracy, nothing wrong with it. It's just the way it's measured, and it gives the mortgage company a really good idea of what your long-term credit behavior is going to be versus some of the other industries that just care about, can you make your payment next month? So, different formulas for different industries. They're all valid. There's not anything wrong with any of the formulas. They're just different.
Interesting. I mean, and I look forward to reading more about your book to learn some of those other things, that maybe myths that are out there that we think we know, or someone told us about how credit was done, but maybe they're just myths that have been passed through from someone else. So, all right, well, you're a lender, you're an author. How did you become an author?
I like writing stuff. I try to communicate with my clients in writing. I like to explain, like if I get a bad credit report, I'll write people a really lengthy email back on what they should be doing to fix their credit. So I've been basically writing this story for years. And if now I've just compiled it all together into one big book is how it all came about. I just like the written word. It's the way I like to communicate. If you can tell a story with your mouth, you can tell the same story with your fingers. So to me, that's all writing is. It's just a different way of telling your story. And anybody that wants to write, they can do that. anybody can get their book published these days. You don't have to have permission from a publishing house or anything like that anymore.
So what are the titles of the other books that you've written about?
Well, they're right here. So they all have the word battle plan in them. So I work for the largest VA lender in the country. So I'm kind of focused on the military market for lending. So I kind of like the name battle plan for these books because that's kind of a military term. And it's, strategies to accomplish something. So first one I wrote for real estate agents, real estate battle plan. So real estate agents, if they want to learn how to work with VA clients, military clients, I give them a step-by-step on how to do that. Here's one for actual home buyers. So it's called VA Home Buyer Battle Plan. So somebody comes in, applies for a loan, and they want to know how to buy a house. Hey, I got a book for you. And then the credit score battle plan for people that aren't ready to buy yet. I got one more in the works in the series for people that currently own their houses and want to know what to do next. And then I could move on to a different topic, but that's what I've got so far. And I'm pretty excited about them. People that read them seem to like them. So
good. Well, I think I'll get some and give them away as gift to some clients. So what advice would you have for a new home buyer starting to enter the market? They don't know about their credit. They're not sure what to do. What's just one nugget of advice? Okay, I'm gonna start, Glenn. Where should I start?
So a lot of people think they have to figure this out on their own. And what I would advise is find somebody that you get a really good trust level with that can just help you figure it out. When you are a home buyer, you're going to have two people on your team to help you with that. You're going to have your loan officer, your lender side of things that's going to help you with all the numbers and credit and all those things. And then you're going to have your real estate agent on the other side that's going to be the expert on finding the right home for you. And you should start early to find those people to get them on your team. The other thing is have a look at your credit early, because there may be some things we can do to, if you don't qualify yet, we can help you get qualified in a hurry. But you also get rewarded if your scores are higher. And so maybe your score is okay to buy a home with, but what if we took another month or two and actually improved your score, and then you could qualify for a better interest rate and, easier underwriting, et cetera. So don't be afraid to apply early with whoever that person is that you get a trust level for. A lot of people would just go to the internet and respond to an ad and, oh, this place has the lowest rate, I'm going to apply there. And you never know who you're working with. And that can be kind of scary. So find that trusted advisor. Ask your friends, your relatives, who they worked with and what their experience was like. There's all these Facebook groups out there. You can put out there, hey, who's your favorite lender? And then go out and interview 2 or 3 of them and see who you like. And you should be able to find somebody that actually cares enough to want to work with you and help you, rather than just treating you like, a number or another application, or, yeah, you're approved, go shop for a house. Well, did they really take the time to maybe put you in a better situation than you are now? Find that person.
Great advice. A good team, having a good team together. And I think I talked to someone one time. I was like, most buyers could probably name 6 types of potato chips in the potato chip aisle, but don't know more than 2 real estate brokers or lenders. And they're going to make one of the biggest financial decisions of their life, and may grab the first name they get for a lender or a broker. Your advice to go interview them, get names, get a couple names, and then interview them to see if that person's going to fit for you, because this is definitely, a wealth building opportunity for buyers out there. And having someone like yourself who's been through it and can walk them through the process, that they don't lose out because they're not ready. Something isn't done right. Their file isn't complete, and they lose out because of it. So, absolutely great advice from you. So you're an author, and I'm sure you read a lot. You've read a lot of other books. What's a book that's greatly influenced your own life?
I thought about this question, and it's not necessarily a book, one particular book that influenced me. My first sales job out of college, I was working for Cal Worthington. If you know that name, then you're as old as me. Cal Worthington was actually the highest volume car dealer in the world during his prime and when I was working for him. And so big time marketer, Cal Worthington really liked to reward the high performers, and he loved firing the low performers. And when I was working for him, I liked the high pay, but I didn't want to be fired. And I realized I should probably learn how to do this business. I discovered a man named Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale was a radio host, and he used to put out this monthly cassette program that he would tell stories, and then he would bring guests on that were experts in the business field. And I was subscribed to this Insight program and got my monthly cassette. And then each one of these guests would promote their own work. And I was ordering these cassette tapes over and over and over again from all these different experts. I learned so much driving around in my car, listening to these cassettes. And that opened up the world of learning to me. I realized that there are people out there that know my business better than I do. And they put their information out there for me to learn from them. It's not a secret. So I pick up book. I'm a voracious reader right now. I'll read 25 to 50 books every year, most of them on my industry. I never did that before I met Earl Nightingale. He just opened up that whole world to me. And it's been so impactful. And I've learned so much over the years, and these books, they're just a way to pass on what I've learned, and I'm happy to do it. And I hope people, grab them and learn something from them.
Good. Well, I love books. I don't really have time to sit down and read one. So Audible's my best friend, and different, podcasts that are out there. Cause you're right. I mean, you put, hundreds and hundreds of hours writing the book and developing the knowledge, and I can buy it for, under $30 or whatever the cost of a book is. And you're getting all that knowledge and experience from someone for a really big discount, and you can go apply it. So you mentioned again that, that you're in the lending industry. Tell us more about, what it is you do, because you're not a full-time author. Who do you work for and in your company?
So for the last 8 years, I've worked for Veterans United Home Loans. So like I mentioned earlier, we're the largest military lender, VA lender in the country by quite a bit. I mean, we do about 3 times as many purchase loans for veterans as our next closest competitor. So it's something that we're really proud of. We love working with military families. I can do other types of loans too, and I do other types of loans. But the VA home buyer is really what we're focused on, and we do it better than anyone. This is a great company to work for. I love being here. I've been in the industry about 20 years. This is really the first company I've ever worked for that I felt like they cared as much about the clients as I do. And that's high praise. I mean, I'm impressed with their heart, their passion for what they do, and I'm proud to be here.
Great. So if people want to find your book or get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to do so?
Well, if you do a search on the internet and put in Glenn Leach and, a word like mortgage or lender or home loans, you'll find my websites out there. They come up. You could go to Amazon and type in Glenn Leach books, and you'll see my books come up. I'm not hard to find. I have an email address, which is my name, Glenn.Leach at VU, which stands for VeteransUnited.com. So real simple, Glenn.Leach at VU.com. They can send me an email. Comes right to me. Happy to respond, answer questions. Somebody struggling with credit wants to know more about doing a home loan. Yeah, reach out. I'm happy to help.
Great. Well, I think I read there, bad credit costs you money, and your book is going to be able to help people genuinely save money for themselves by building up their credit and improving their lives. So, as I said, I'm looking forward to reading the book and learning a lot more. So thank you for writing it.
Well, thank you very much for having me. This has been a pleasure.
All right. Thank you.